Some major news: the Washington Post has revealed that the former president and current Republican frontrunner Donald Trump had also pressured Arizona Governor Doug Ducey to overturn Arizona's election results in 2020. In contrast with other officials that Trump pulled the same stunt with, Ducey didn't record his call with Trump. But Trump was so persistent that he sent Mike Pence to persuade Ducey to gift him the election in Arizona. Ultimately, Arizona did certify its election results, officially awarding Biden its 11 electors. Biden became only the second Democrat in 70 years to win Arizona, beating Trump by 10,457 votes. Ducey's decision angered Trump so much that he decided to call the Arizona governor while he was publicly signing the certification paperwork. When asked about this moment at a press conference later, Ducey stated that he kept his conversation with Trump in confidence, which is probably code for, "I didn't want to have a record of Trump saying illegal things to me for fear of being dragged into some inevitable litigation."
Have you spoken with him about Arizona's election results? Did he ask you at any point not to sign that certification?
So it was the White House calling during the election results. Well, you don't know, because any call that comes out from the White House is through a switchboard. So I was at a public ceremony doing an official act. So regardless of who was calling, I was not going to answer the phone at that moment. But immediately thereafter, after the event, I called back to the White House, and it was the president.
What did you and the president discuss?
Well, I keep my conversations with the president in confidence, and I'm going to continue to keep that policy.
Did he ask you to not certify the election?
I said that I'm going to keep the conversation in confidence, but I think it's important that I answer that question directly, and the answer is no.
And look, I don't want to speak out of turn here or speculate on a conversation I didn't hear, but I think it's safe to assume that Trump was probably spouting conspiracy theories and demanding that Ducey deliver 10,000 votes to Trump, while Ducey insisted that there was no evidence of voter fraud. Just, a hunch. And of course, it wasn't just Arizona. Between November 2020 and January 2021, Trump called Republicans across the country, hoping to force them to change the outcome of the election. He lost Georgia by over 11,000 votes, Wisconsin by 20,000 votes, and Pennsylvania by 80,000 votes. Trump pushed Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find those votes that would overturn the election results in Georgia. Raffensperger repeatedly told Trump that there was no evidence of fraud, but Trump insisted that there was nothing wrong with saying that you've recalculated before asking the Georgia Republican to find 11,780 votes that didn't exist. Trump then made thinly veiled threats about Raffensperger facing criminal prosecution if he didn't follow Trump's instructions. And don't just take my word for it, because Trump is as subtle as a 15-car pileup. He committed this crime on a recorded line.
We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. Having a correct, the people of Georgia are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong.
Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having.
But have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure.
You should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes. You know what they did, and you're not reporting it. That's a that's a criminal offense. And you know, you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. You know, I mean, I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this.
And of course, Trump's indictment in Fulton County for that quote-unquote perfect phone call is expected at any moment. And to be clear, Trump didn't just try to overturn the election by pressuring public officials. The former president, his lawyers, and his allies filed scores of lawsuits filled with conspiracy theories. Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, Jenna Ellis all acted as Trump's crack legal team, with Giuliani standing in Pennsylvania as his face was melting, insisting that Trump won Pennsylvania by 300,000 votes, while Powell complained that communist money was stealing elections through voting machines. And of course, his legal team wouldn't make these claims to a judge because there are consequences to lying in court, but that certainly didn't stop them from spouting these lies in public. When U.S. District Judge Matthew Brand pressed Giuliani in court about the nature of fraud, Giuliani admitted, quote, "This is not a fraud case." Trump's cases were so detached from reality that he was laughed out of court in over 60 cases, often by judges who he himself appointed. And so the fact that Trump called Ducey to pressure him into rejecting the results of the Arizona election isn't surprising. He is a narcissist with no fear of consequences and whose only priority is maintaining his grip on power. One consolation, though, is that accountability is finally catching up with him. Special counsel Jack Smith is currently investigating Trump's role in the January 6th insurrection, a fake elector scheme, and other forms of election interference. And as I mentioned before, Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis is also gearing up to pursue an August indictment of Trump related to his calls with Brad Raffensperger in Georgia. The Ducey and Raffensperger calls provide a sneak peek into some of the potential evidence that Jack Smith and Fani Willis have in their cases to hold Trump accountable for his attempts to undermine democracy and subvert the transfer of power. We all saw the part where he fucked around. Now comes the part where he finds out. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to the channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.